Dave, what's up? Welcome to the Champions Club, man. All right, I'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Great Thanksgiving, too, if you're in the States. Welcome. This is our fourth Army stream. I'm very excited about this. They're a lot of fun for me. I think they're really cool, and I'm always interested to see what the community has. So welcome. We have some new people in chat, I think. Spooky, what's up? Good to see you. Dave, thanks for becoming a member. What's up? I have Bob. You just got off work. Oliver, good to see you, man. Well, welcome. Come on in, everybody. So, gotta stay hydrated. Before we get started, I just want to do a little spiel about how this goes. In the community tab of our YouTube channel, there's a post that I made talking about, I want to see your Tyranid list. So if you want me to review your Tyranid list, go ahead and post it in there. Just copy it through the GW app or whatever you're using and post it as a comment, and then I'll get to it. All lists will be reviewed in time, but if you do want your list to be a little bit forward, like Dave, he just joined, consider supporting us by buying us a coffee, by being a member, and then I will do my best to get you in the next review show. That will be my goal. Alexander has an incredible question. He says, predictions to what the Tyranid holiday detachment will be. I have a couple ideas. There's one idea that I think would make sense for them to do, but it would also not be good for me. What I think could happen is if they do like an all snake detachment, if they do all burrowers, or basically, here's what I think would be cool, but I don't have the models for it necessarily, is if it's like Grey Knights, right? But they're for the snakes. So if it's like Raveners, Molochs, Trigons or something, yeah, oops, all snakes. And if they just go back and forth, I think that could be a detachment. But what's up, Waffle? Yeah, thanks, man. And then Donut, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Hey, I'm a bit lost to jump between Tyranofexes and Maliceptor plus Zoanthropes. What would be the best choice? I apologize for this answer, but it's probably dependent on the rest of your list. I think right now I'm probably leaning towards Tyranofexes over Zoanthropes, but if you're doing Synaptic Nexus, I do think that Zoanthropes are good as a 6-man. I think they're pretty good. Also in Vanguard, I like them and as a 6-man too, because you can bring them in turn 1 with the strat, and you can pick them up too, so you can just like up and down your Zoanthropes. But I would not be surprised if that's the detachment. Yeah, there's a Tyranid holiday detachment that will come out. Samuel L. Jackson and snakes on a plane. Please no. Oh, I did! Invasion Fleet. Invasion Fleet, I would do Tyranofexes, just because I feel like you're going to get better use with them. You could do, it's just, hopefully you're not shooting your Tyranofexes at infantry. Well, I guess with the small guns. In Invasion, I think I'm locking in Tyranofexes over. Someone just said holiday Tyranid detachment now. I'm imagining the Red Terror in a sand. Whew! Jeez, incredible imagination. I would love to see that too. But I think snakes on a plane, I think that would be a very obvious Tyranid detachment, because I think they actually did a pretty good job with the Codex, with everything else. Let's see what else. Maybe a detachment for like the middle bugs, Yeah. So all you need to do to apply for have your list to be reviewed is put it as a comment in the community tab in our channel specifically, and then I'll get to it. Right now, I think our queue is about 3 to 4 weeks, which is honestly crazy. I'm probably going to do an extra stream this Thursday, just to get a little bit more lists going in, but I'll talk about that later. I can't get too caught up. I could just chill here and talk for the whole time. That would be a good time. But because I actually do have a commitment I need to be at around 6, but we got plenty of time. We only have 5 lists today, just because I'm honoring that commitment that I got at 6 p.m. And I wanted to make sure every single list I reviewed got my full thought process, as opposed to me just purposefully zipping through things. So one more time before we get into things, if you want your list submitted, I want it submitted too, go ahead and hop into our community tab in our YouTube channel and post your list as a comment in that thread that I've created. And then I'll get to it. If you are a member, you're going to get more priority, and I will probably get to your list sooner rather than later. I've pretty much genuinely gotten all members that submitted a list during the next stream. So but that's just how it's rolling. If you're interested in me reviewing your list a little bit quicker, that's the way to do it. Anyways, let's make sure I am set up, ready to go. We've got 5 lists today. They are all, yes, thank you, Diana. Good. And we are all ready to go. We have one 1,000 point list. This is the first 1,000 point list that I will review. Oh, Real Grenade had a good question. What detachment I think is the most underrated detachment? I think, and we're going to get to it today, actually. We're going to talk about it a little bit. I think Assimilation Swarm is the most underrated detachment. Maybe they add a Flyers detachment. Maybe they add a Harridan detachment. What do you guys think? That would be super sick. That would be awesome. But regardless of what comes out, I will either do maybe a live stream tomorrow talking about it, or I will do my best to post a video as quickly as possible talking about and reviewing that detachment, because I'm very excited about it as well. But anyways, we are here to review some Tyranid lists, and Tyranid lists we shall review. So this is the first 1,000 point list that I've reviewed on the channel, and it's from Antrak. So thank you, Antrak, for submitting this. Let's see what he has to say. I will take this list to my friends for a tournament. I will play mainly for objectives and secondary missions. Do you have some tips? Okay, so it is a Vanguard Onslaught. Yeah, maybe a Hollow. That would be sweet. So let's see what he got. He has Death Leaper, Parasite with Stalker. That's like the +1 to hit and wound, I believe, or something. Maybe it's just +1 to wound. You pick something and you really want to kill it. Winged Hive Tyrant with Chameleonic. I think this is a standard for a Vanguard list, as well as the Death Leaper, so everything's pretty cool. Parasite is a little interesting, I'd say, for 1,000 points. Let me get to the end of the list, and then I'll talk about what I think of for 1,000 points. We have Gargoyles, 20-man. We have a 10-man Gargoyles, Biovore, Neurolictor, Raveners, and 6-man Von Ryans. Okay, so, and that's the next list, so it's very short. Here's what I think about 1,000 points, and I honestly have not played a whole lot of 1,000 point games, but when talking about, I've done some like doubles tournaments and stuff like that. When I think about 1,000 points, I think about basically a skew list. And if you're not familiar with a skew list, it's where you kind of just do some big heavy hitter or something that's really, really hard for people to remove, and then it just takes over the game. Like for 1,000 points, if I was going to play a 1,000 point list, people would probably hate me. I would probably take like 3 Norns and then like 2 or 3 scoring pieces and then Death Leaper as my character or whatever. I would do something stupid like that. But it looks like this guy or person or whatever is looking to just score a bunch of points. And I think they have the right idea. However, I think with 1,000 points, because the game is short, I mean, the board is shorter, I believe, you're going to get into combat quicker. And that means that your opponent's things are probably going to die quicker, and your things are definitely going to die quicker, especially if we look at what we have here. Okay, so I think you're great on the scoring. One thing that I'm immediately going to do is I'm going to take this Gargoyle down to a 10-man. We just don't need 30 Gargoyles, and we definitely don't need a 20-man Gargoyle and then a 10-man Gargoyle. So we're definitely going to do that, and this will bring this down to 85 points, like that. And that's already going to give us 85 points right there. Next up, I'm not sure we need the Parasite for this. the thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to fit enough points in order to have one big brick of something to go out and really do all of the business for my 1,000 points. So that's why I'm kind of trimming some things around here. I do have this list in my phone, so let me make sure I get that out. This is Antrak, very cool. Okay, so we are going to bring the gargoyles down to 2 10-mans, like I said, and then we will get rid of the parasite. I think the parasite is a very cool tech. I think he's really neat. I'm just not really seeing him needed at 1,000 points. Okay, so we're just kind of trimming some of the things that I don't think is necessarily needed or intuitive to our game plan. That being said, I do like that he has like a 6-man Von Ryans. That's kind of cool. But in my opinion, I think for 1,000 points, we probably are okay with just 1 3-man. And I would like to probably get at least 2 3-man Raveners. So I feel like we could use some of our points with that. I've already done that. Oh, no, I have not already done that in my thing. So that leaves us at 825. That means 170 points. The thing that I'm really actually looking for is I would like either a Broodlord plus send the NillocDeer. What's up, Dylan? Thanks for joining, man. I would either like a Broodlord and Gene Stealers, or maybe like a Winged Prime and Tyranid Warriors. But I think we're going to go with Broodlord and Gene Stealer. So let's see how much that's going to put us over and see if it's possible to trim the list or make the list so that we're not losing the essence of the list, but still allowing us to use it. Okay, so it's 1,055 points. So we're 55 points over. I think, and let me write that in before I forget. So we've got Gene Stealers times 10, and then the Broodlord going up, and that's, what are they? They're 150. And then Broodlord up at the top, I think is 80, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and and then we probably bring the Ravagers down to 1 3-man, and then we're at 980. All right, so let me do those changes. It's a pretty quick, I guess 1,000 points is pretty quick list review. And then that means we can add an enhancement onto the Broodlord. We probably put back Stalker, maybe. Ooh, is it good in 1,000 points to use Hunting Grounds? I think Hunting Grounds is pretty cool. It's one of my favorite enhancements in Vanguard, for sure. But I think for this, since we have so little units in 1,000 points, I think Neuronode would be really good because being able to shift around 3 units, that's basically your entire army. If you think about it, I would be excited to play this list for 1,000 points. So this is what I would kind of do. Death Leaper, Broodlord with the 10-man Gene Stealers, Winged Hive Tyrant, which has Chameleonic, which is great, 2 Gargoyle Squads, Biovore, 10 Gene Stealers, NillocDeer, Raveners, and Von Ryans. And if you think about it, with 1,000 points, you still have 1, 2, 3, if you count them, 4, 5, 6 scoring units. Okay, and that's a lot of scoring units for even half of what I normally play with 2,000 points. So you can use all of those units, that being the Death Leaper, 2 Gargoyles, Biovore, NillocDeer, Von Ryans, and maybe even Raveners you can consider as a scoring unit. But how I would play this is I would probably deploy the Von Ryans pretty aggressively up front to try and screen out any infiltrates that your opponent has. And then I would go with the NillocDeer into like an objective marker that your opponent isn't able to get to easily. And then I would do Biovore, probably do Gene Stealers on one flank, and then the Hive Tyrant next to them. And then Death Leaper, he can kind of go wherever. And then Neuronode, I feel like is actually very powerful, 1,000 points, because you can kind of slow roll your deployment, meaning like Biovore, those scoring units that I was talking about before. Kind of see where your opponent's going to deploy. And then at the end, you can scoop up your Von Ryans, put them somewhere better, where they're safer. And then you can also move the Gene Stealers in a way where they're going to get a good turn 1 charge or whatever. It's very good, even though it's before you figure out who goes first. It's very good to redeploy the Gene Stealers, and then they get to scout, and then they get to charge something. So that's how I would play it. Who is this again? Antrak. Thank you again for submitting the list. I hope that makes sense. I'm not an expert in 1,000 points, but that's kind of where I would take this Vanguard Onslaught list for that. How's everybody in chat doing? Having a good Monday? Anybody working on anything cool paint-wise? I am working on more Vindicators. I might play Blood Angels at RTT. I know that's blasphemous of me, but it's all the maps are search and destroy, so I really just want to charge people. So I don't know. But if the Tyranid detachment tomorrow is just a banger, then I'm definitely going to take Tyranids for sure. Okay. Our next list, Defapona. I think that's how I say your name. I don't know. You hang out in Discord a lot, and I really appreciate you hanging out. So yeah, thanks for submitting your list. I'm glad I got to look at it. Real Grenade, in the process of painting a Norn Emissary. It's a long process and taking me forever. Should have lots of plastic coming in today. Dylan, that is a happy day. Christmas comes early in your house, I guess. That's awesome. Okay, cool. What's up, Pulp? Thanks for being here, man. Okay, so this person, I think it's Defapona. I forget. I don't quite know how to say your name. I apologize. But would love to hear your thoughts. This is what I'm thinking about taking to a GT in 3 weeks. Ideas where change second Gargoyle Squad to Death Leaper, okay, and or change second Tyrant effects to Maleceptor and enhancement on Hive Tyrant. All right, let's take a look. We'll try and keep those in mind. This is Synaptic Nexus. We've got Hive Tyrant, Venom Cannon. Oh, okay, I see. So you probably would put Synaptic Control if you had the points for it. Narrow Tyrant with the Psychostatic Disruption. And we're exactly at 2k points. Okay. Gargoyles. You know, I'm a stickler for 2 Gargoyles. I really do like 2 Gargoyles. We've got Biovore, Exocrine, Lictor, Neurolictor, Norn Emissary, Tyrannifex, Von Ryans. Okay. Now, I kind of go by a rule of thumb where if I'm bringing a Norn Emissary, I'm also probably going to want to bring a Maleceptor, especially if we are in Synaptic Nexus. So now you don't always have to do this, but the Synaptic Nexus, kind of like the standard gun line, is going to be Exocrine, Zoanthropes, Tyrannifex, because the Exocrines are just Exocrines. You know, it's kind of boring, but they really just are good. I really do like Tyrannifexes in Synaptic Nexus, and I see that they have 2. Woo! Excuse me. Sorry about that. We have 2 Tyrannifexes here. I think that's great. We have 1 Norn Emissary. And then we have... we are missing Zoanthropes. Okay. So, things that I'm looking at... thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, chat's coming alive. Thank you with all the bless yous. Things that I'm looking at, things that I don't necessarily love. In my opinion, I don't think we need Death Leaper. I think I'm okay. I would rather have 2 Gargoyles because I really like move blocking with Gargoyles, especially if I'm doing a gun line. And Synaptic Nexus, in my opinion, is probably going to lean towards a gun line, like a lot of Tyranid stuff, but we'll see. Okay. 2 Lictors and 2 Neurolictors. For Synaptic Nexus, I probably want to go down to... they're so good, but 3? All right, let me do the things that I absolutely want to do first, and then we'll take it from there. I'm sorry. I'm not in love with the Neurogons. I know they're 11 bodies for 45 points, which is a very good premium. I understand that that is a very good point total. However, I don't think we need that because we have Gargoyles. And I do feel like gargoyles just kind of do that job for them. So I am going to remove the Neurogons. Sorry. We have Tyranifex, Von Ryans. Okay, with all the Von Ryans, I definitely think we can trim some infiltrators. Like, I've actually been playing 3-man Von Ryans in my invasion fleet recently. It's pretty sweet. It's really good to screen out stuff like I was talking about in the 1K list we were just talking about. But besides that, they're really not going to do anything, and they, in my opinion, don't do a whole lot to support Synaptic Nexus, like something like a 6-man Zoanthrope would be. All right, so let's cut the Von Ryan's Leapers. So that brings us to 1885. And I want to try and keep one of them. We'll see. We might go back and look at that. I like double NillocDeer. Honestly, if it were for me, I would put... I like 2 Norns or no Norns, which could be weird, but I'm going to keep the Norn for now because I know, we like our Norns. I'm going to trim 1 Lictor, which is kind of crazy. Let me see where that gets. I think if we trim... All right. I hate to do it. I think we do trim the Norm. And the teacher is reviewing our homework. Oh no. Take out the Norn! A big red pin mark around the Norn emissary. I just think if we don't have a Maleceptor and we don't have Zoanthropes, the Norn is tough. But let's do... Ooh, that's cool. I didn't realize it did that. So let's first see if we can keep the Norn. If we delete 1 Lictor, 1875, and then we put in a Maleceptor. All right. I think I am okay with that. I think that would be passable. 1995. Then you don't really have any room for enhancements on your Hag Tyrant, but that is something. So that would be with 1 Lictor. And then we do a Maleceptor at 170 points. And that would be at 1995 from my calculations. Then we keep the Von Ryans, which are kind of cute. I think they're cool. And such. However, if we were trying to get a little bit more competitive with this, I think we probably do end up deleting the Norn for Zoanthropes, maybe. Let's see where that lies. So that would be at 1720. And also, I think that this list that we just did right there, I think it's cool. I think that's fine as well. I definitely think Screamer Killer to Rapid Ingress, woof, that would be sweet. The Norn Emissary goes by, and then we do Zoanthropes. I like 1 3-man Von Ryans. And I'm not even like, I think in any detachment, really that could be a nice tech piece in order to allow for some shenanigans. If we delete the Norn and then add a Zoanthrope squad, then that's at 1920. Then that means we have 80 points left. So, oh, did he say Norn? Did he want to feel the Norn? Yeah. No, I'm just saying this is kind of the style that I would probably do. I think you can definitely still run the Norn, and I think the list that we were looking at before these cuts would be something that would be fine as well. But I just think in Synaptic Nexus, Zoanthropes with the Tyranifex is such a strong is such a strong combo that I definitely want to do that. So this is at 1980. So we would need 90 points in order to fit another Maleceptor in. Things you could do is you could look at trying to cut a NillocDeer, but I kind of like the 2 NillocDeers. You could also try and cut a Von Ryans and a Lictor. But then we're taking away from too much of the list. Okay, I think we probably keep it like that. I think 1 Maleceptor is good. And then we still have enough Synapse. And then at that point, it would be kind of cool to put in something like a Death Leaper just to round it out. You still get that infiltrate play that it looks like Death Opponent really likes, which would add to that. And then that would easily round up to 2,000 points. the reason why I'm making those changes is because I really like using Irresistible Will. I agree, Norn is fun. I agree. And if you want to just rewind a little bit before I cut the Norn, use that list if you want to, that's totally fine. But I really, really like using Irresistible Will with the Zoanthropes to help the Tyran effects, is because the Zoanthropes are able to spread out and then poke out from multiple different gun lines to help with the reroll ones to hit and wound. So it does allow for a powerful combo with the Zoanthropes, and I think a six-man Zoanthrop really, really helps you able to do that. I have played Norn a couple of times. Well, I probably played like a Norn like 10 times or something, and even when it's on its objective, it can just boom get deleted, and that's 270 points, 75 points, and it can be really, really tough to come back from that total of a point swing. So I'd like to do Zoanthrope before. One list that I have been looking at trying to do sometime, maybe on stream or something, is a Synaptic Nexus list, where it is, it's not, I'm not sure it's the most competitive, but it is cool. It is Deathleaper, Neurotyrant, 2 Gargoyles, Biovore, Maliceptor, NillocDeer, Norn, and then Double Screamer Killer. I think that list would be super sweet. Some things that it is missing, of course, is the Exocrine and or the Zoanthropes, but that would be a really fun list. If I were to take, I don't know, just to a fun RTT, I would do something like that. That would be cool. All right, Def Epona. Apologize about cutting your Norn, but I hope my words were close to wisdom or something like that, and I hope you enjoyed. If you're hanging out in chat right now, I would love it if you click the like button. It's like somewhere that I don't know. It's down. You know where it is. It helps the stream a lot. You know, it helps the channel a lot and helps me a little bit. You know, so if you're liking the stream, like the stream. All right, third list. We are moving right along. We got 2 more after this. Of course, it's a little bit of a shorter stream, but let's take a look. This is Bean Creature. First up, great name. Love it. I'm a Bean Creature too. Pretty new, but really like list building. Hey, me too, dude. 100%. And we have another Synaptic Nexus list. This is pretty sweet. We have Deathleaper, Hive Tyrant with Synaptic Control, Parasite with the Dirge Heart of Karis. Can somebody please tell me how good this is? Can somebody, like, if you've ran this combo with the Parasite, the Dirge Heart, let me know. I really, I'm curious because a lot of people are playing it. It seems really cool, but I'm just having a hard time worrying about the combo, you know? Okay. And then we got 2 20-man Termagants. Wow. Lictor, NillocDeer, Pyrovore, Tyrant Guard, Exocrine, Maliceptor, Psychophage, Tyrannifex. Okay. Spooky says, I started to think about collecting a full army recently. So many words I don't understand. I feel like I missed a few classes and the teacher started a new topic. Hey, Spooky, you just collect what you want, you know? Take it bit by bit. It's a hobby. It's for you. I wouldn't stress too much. Okay, but yeah, 40K, just jumping into 40K, I wouldn't, that'd be scary. Okay, so a couple things that shoot out to me right away is I would love to have a second Tyrannifex. I feel like we would have to do too much to this list in order to jam in 20 or 6 Zoanthropes. I'm also kind of raising my eyebrow like that at the 2 20-man Termagant bricks. There's already 2 Fexes. Did I miss it? Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, sweet. All right, cool. So we're at this point where we're just optimizing. So maybe we actually are looking to do a Zoanthrope brick. Yeah, Spooky, join our Discord. It's probably not on this description because I didn't update it. My apologies. It will be once this goes live or released. Go on our channel thing, and then on one of the links you can join our Discord. Discord has been crazy. You guys are phenomenal in there. I haven't even been around because I've been so busy. Oh, awesome, Spooky. But yeah, our Discord community has been really, really, really cool. We should be having a giveaway in there pretty soon. All right. Anyways, I I think the tech of 20 Termagants is cool. In Synaptic Nexus, I don't necessarily think it is playing to our strengths. I think Synaptic Nexus wants to point at things and then bzz, and just kind of delete it with brain guns. That's at least how I play it. These two 20-man Termagants, I think, would be better with two like Gargoyle 10-man or even like a couple of Hormagants. However, I really do love double Lictor, and then Neurolictor, and then two Pyrovores. Things that are immediately, I think, are going to get cut is I'm going to cut this Tyrant Guard. Oh, let me first. Who is this? Oh goodness, I didn't even open it up. Beam creature, sweet. Is the Tyrant Guard. I'm gonna cut stuff and then I'm gonna talk about why I cut it. Tyrant Guard, bye bye. Sorry, Psychophage. I'm assuming he probably does the Psychophage with the 20-mans. But I honestly think I'm going to cut the 20-mans as well. So we cut the Tyrant Guard, we cut the Psychophage. This is so ruthless sometimes. I feel this is tough. And then we cut the two Termagants, which is a lot of points. All of a sudden, we are sitting at 1575. And what I would do first, hey, if you know the channel, if you know me, I can't stop myself. I can't get away from it. I can't not put two 10-man Gargoyle squads in a list. So that means we are now at, let's check, boop, boop, 1745. These two are something that I would consider dropping. But honestly, like this list is really kind of shaping up after that. I think one thing that we were talking about a lot is I really do enjoy the 6-man Zoanthropes. They hit on 2s, and with Irresistible Will, they can easily reroll 1s, even without the Exocrine, and then reroll 1s to wound as well. So I think 6-man Zoanthrope is very strong. That leaves us at 1945. Let's see, things we are missing. Only one Exocrine, but like I was talking about before with Irresistible Will, I'm not necessarily missing the reroll 1s too much. Let's see, that means we have 55 points. What do we do with 55 points? I do like double Pyrovore because I like them running up with the Maleceptors to aid with Ignore Cover. I think that's a pretty strong combo. I don't want to put like Barb Gaunts or anything. He has Synaptic Control. Dirge Heart is very cool. I think it would be a cool combo to maybe upgrade. If we do two things. I like Neurolictors better than I like Lictors in Synaptic, but let's see. So if we cut one Lictor, which I'm not in love with doing if I'm being honest with you, because they're so good. That's at 1885. And let's see. Oh, he already has Death Leaper. Fantastic. And we duplicate for an additional Neurolictor, which would give us 90 points right there. So we're at 1975. Then something we could do is cut one of the Pyrovores. I know I just said I like it with the advance, but I mean with the Ignore Cover. But I do think maybe two of them is not necessarily what we need. And then we could do two things. We could put that second Lictor back in, or we could do a 10-man Hormagaunts. Either one. I think I'm leaning towards the second Lictor. This is a pretty cool list. Let's zoom back out and take a look at it. We did mess with some stuff. I always feel a little bad, but you know, this is what I would do with a list. So we have Death Leaper. We have the Hive Tyrant with Synaptic Control, of course. Parasite with Dirge Heart. That cool combo that everyone's running except for me. I should try it out someday. Two Lictors. Two Gargoyles, of course. Two Neurolictors. One Pyrovore. The second one is missing. Sorry. One Exocrine. Two Maleceptors. Two Tyrannofexes. And I forgot to do the Zoanthropes. Sorry. Sweet. Okay. And that is at, what did I do? I added back the Lictor. That is at 1995. The second Lictor or the one of Hormagaunt Squad would be pretty cool. Either way, this is kind of what I like about Synaptic Nexus. And I think that was pretty cool. I know I changed a lot about that list, but I feel like it wasn't exactly efficient in the way that I think it could be. So I don't know. All right, I think we have one or two more lists. This is Charlie's list, and then we have two lists. Okay, sweet. So if you're new to the stream, welcome. If you're wondering how to submit the list, go into our community tab. There's a big post. Put your list in as a comment, and I will look at it when I get a chance to. If you want your list to be reviewed a little bit quicker, consider being a member. It buys the 4 of us that work on Wednesday Night Warhammer a coffee together, and you get your list reviewed. All right, this is Charlie's list. He's playing Assimilation Swarm, and I absolutely love it. I think it is so good. If you're familiar with Maelstrom Gaming, he actually won like a GT or something. I think his name's Craig. He does a great job with Assimilation Swarm. I am not an expert on Assimilation Swarm just because I don't own all of the units that I would like to. But if you're new to this kind of list, let's see what Charlie has to say. The list title is "Why Don't Tyrant Guard Have a 2-up save?" Good question. He's got Hive Tyrant with Instinctive Defense. This enhancement does a couple of things. The main one is it fights first, and it can heroic for free, and it fights first. And one of those is like behind a clause. If you're balloons, I don't know how that. One of those is behind a clause where you have to be next to some swarm. Yep, he's been playing it for a long time, man. I wish I said I could like stick with the list, but I'm always jumping around with different stuff. Okay, so it's a phenomenal enhancement. It's just such a good enhancement. And the only thing that I can say is with this Hive Tyrant right away, I probably actually go with Craig. And what Craig has done is he does full melee on the Hive Tyrant. Because you just send it up, and if anything charges anything, you heroic, you fights first, and then you just make a blender out of something. So something to consider, but I normally like the Venom Cannon Bone Sword Lash Rip. Swarmlord, he's great. Gargoyles, Hormagaunts, I think this is fine. You know, I don't want to get a bad rap for always doing 2 Gargoyles and nothing else, but I think that is fine as well. Biovore, double Exocrine, double Haruspex, Psychophage, triple Pyrovore, 2 Pyrovores, 2 Pyrophores, 6 Tyrant Guard, and then 6 Tyrant Guard. And that's the list, honestly. It's very good. Let me take a look at what Charlie said. I kind of want the anchor of the list to be the 2 units of Tyrant Guard with the Hive Tyrant and Swarmlord. Outside of that, I don't really know where to take the list. I'm trying to maximize the regeneration, use the Hive Tyrant Tyrant Guard's bricks to control space. Yeah, they will do that well. The Hive Tyrant squad gets fights first, so it's theoretically hard to engage. With as a melee army, the Swarmlord has Vect R, so he can play a little more aggro, maybe to try and contest the opponent's expansion objective. Do you think a unit of Venomthropes could be a sound investment to further skew into the durability? I want to make sure I'm not sacrificing too much on the damage / mission play that's supporting the Tyrant Guard bricks. Also, Pyrophores just sound kind of nutty in this detachment. Potential 4-up Feel No Pain on a unit of 3 on objective goes unreasonably hard when you can also regenerate them. Would love to hear your thoughts / expert input. It was very kind calling my input expert. So let's see. I guess Charlie's goal is to fit maybe Venomthropes. Let's see what we would cut. I don't really want to cut any of the Pyrovore squads. I just think they're good. We have 2 Psychophages, 2 Haruspecs, 2 Exocrines. This is tough. And this is going to be the first time where I might be like, no changes, you know? Because I think Craig took a very, very, very similar list to this and did 5-0 and did incredible. Me personally, what I would do is I would, of course, play this list probably 10 times because this is a different list and it definitely has a very solid game plan. And the thing that I would look at for Assimilation Swarm, and again, I'm not very experienced with this detachment. I wish I was. I would look at how many, what is it called? How many Harvester units I actually need. Because if we were able to cut 1 2-man Pyrovore squad for Venomthropes, I think that would be cool. There's also the argument between 3-man versus 2-man Pyrovores. How much are we hurting if we only have 2 Pyrovores instead of 3? You know, and then how less durable are they? I know there's a 4-up Feel No Pain, but I would say maybe on the Haruspexes we want them more. There's also an argument to drop a Haruspex. And then so that would be 55 points left over. Maybe we can bump one of these up to 3. But I don't want to drop a Haruspex because they're so cool. Venoms wouldn't give stealth to many units at all. Oh, because the Tyrant Guard bricks are monsters. And it's not. Yeah, I agree with you with Wolfel. I apologize if this is the boring answer, but I think the answer to this list is it is amazing, and I think you should run it. And when you run it, please give it to me so that I can run it. All right. I apologize if that's boring, but I think Assimilation Swarm is one of those lists where I feel like Craig's close to solved it, you know? And if you haven't seen his content, go check him out, all right? Because he'll talk in depth about how he's able to do so well with this. The 4x2 is kind of interesting, but I kind of get it. If you have different targets to go into, could be cool. Charlie, great friend of the stream, great friend of mine. Thank you so much for posting your list, man. We really appreciate looking at it. It's 3 Psychophage, no Haruspex. Interesting. I kind of like a split of 2 and 2. I think Haruspexes with a possible 4 Feel No Pain is a terrifying thing for people to look at. But, you know, like we've said multiple times, Craig has played this list a million times. So I'll look at his channel. But I personally, first glance, like the double Haruspex, double Psychophage. Because, like, rapid ingressing a Haruspex can be a terrible time for your opponent. All right. Cool. We're wrapping up pretty nicely, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Monday afternoon. I only have 5 lists today just because I do have somewhere I need to be at 6 p.m. and I just want to give myself a little bit of a buffer to transfer from 40K mode to something that's not 40K mode. So before our last list, I just want to shill a little bit more. If you're enjoying the shows at all, please give them a like. It helps out a bunch. Put a comment down, you know, and subscribe if you haven't already. Did we reach 3,700 by the time of this stream? Let's take a look. Nope. We're 3 away from 3,700. So if you're in here and you're not subscribed, you could be our 3,700 subscriber. Could happen. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me, you know. Submit your list. I'd love to look at it. Let's look at the last list. This is NillocDeer. I love Haruspex too, man. I feel like they're so close. They're so close to being good. If they had advanced charge somehow, hey, maybe tomorrow we'll get a detachment that says Haruspexes have advanced charge. Could be cool. I have a hard time getting them somewhere. I think rapid ingress a Haruspex would be pretty sweet. We'll see. All right. He says, I've been playing against too many Custodians and Blood Angels, so if it's too shooty, that's why. Excuse me. Mass Connoisseurs. Okay. 1965 points. So we already know we have a budget of 35 points, which is a great budget to have, honestly, right at the bat, you know. And that means we are, you know, pretty close to halfway there of some gargoyles. You know me. All right, let's take a look. Just pulling up his list. All right, he has Death Leaper, Battle Shock with NillocDeer. Awesome. By the way, I love it. If you guys are submitting a list, I love it when you do stuff like this. So I know exactly where your head is at. So before I cut your Norns or whatever, you know. Cool. Hive Tyrant, middle objective, sweet. And he's doing, he's doing the full melee. I would probably, an invasion fleet, which we are, I'd probably do a Bone Sword and then Venom Cannon, but we'll see. I do like this. Narrow Tyrant with Synaptic Linchpin. I personally am not a huge fan of this because the Narrow Tyrant is going to be able to send its Narrow nodes elsewhere. So then we have Olden One Eye. We have Gargoyles, Hormagaunts. And then we have the Carnifexes with, awesome. So you have the 4 Death Spitters, and then I'm assuming you're going to put the smaller guns like the Spine Banks and the Bioplasma on it. Those are great. Double Execrant, excuse me. NillocDeer, I don't know how to use. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Trigon, Rapid Ingress, Enemy Deployment, Tyrannifex, and 6 Zoanthropes. Okay, so very cool list. Let's talk about NillocDeers first. NillocDeers can be finicky to play, and honestly, in a lot of my lists, I haven't been playing them too much because your opponent can play around them. but you definitely want to use your NillocDeer so it is like shielding an objective by being completely covering the objective. However, you don't want to send your NillocDeer out as like a trade piece. That is definitely not something that it wants to do. It is a little bit more of a combo piece. Yes, it can score. Yes, it will do secondaries and everything. However, I would be worried about sending out that 90-point piece. Losing a NillocDeer is not the same as losing gargoyles. I am most of the time happy losing gargoyles. If I've put gargoyles in a position where they can die, I'm probably okay if they die. If I have put a NillocDeer in a position where it can die, it probably was a mistake, if I'm being honest. So you want to be way more protective of this. NillocDeer, I normally like to have, it's funny, I almost want to like turn the camera because I have a table set up over there, but I'm not set up for that. Maybe another time. You want to use the NillocDeer as kind of like shading over the center objective. So its 12-inch bubble is right in the center of the objective, which is kind of interesting if you think about it, because then if your opponent goes on to that objective, you can battle shock them, or at least they have the being scared of being battle shocked. And I will be honest with you, oftentimes the threat of being battle shocked is worth more than the actual battle shock roll itself. Meaning your opponent is going to want to intentionally be outside of 12 inches so that there's no possible way they can be battle shocked. When in reality, they probably have greater than a 50% chance of making that battle shock and probably wouldn't do anything regardless. So it's kind of like a will they, won't they thing, you know, with the battle shock. But that's kind of how I use it. You just use it to shield maybe the center objective, but be way more careful with the NillocDeer than you would be with your gargoyles. Okay, definitely don't use your NillocDeer to move block. It's kind of tough because you kind of have to be on this razor's edge. It has to be within 12 inches to battle shock something. Then you also kind of want it far away because low up. NillocDeer is a tough unit to use. I will agree with you, but if you use it wisely, I think it'd be very, very strong. Okay, back to the list. That was a lot, but here we go. Back to the list. We're going to see what we can do. Reminder, we do have 35 points to play with because we're at 1965. So we're going to keep Old One Eye for sure. But the first thing that we're going to do without changing anything is we are going to get rid of Synaptic Linchpin. And then all of a sudden that 35 points turns into 55 points. I just think we're wasting the points on Synaptic Linchpin because we can send out our neuronodes. And then also it's a 6-inch radius from Synapse itself. And then does he have zone throws? Oh, it's more than a 6-inch. You look at, you're just going to stretch out your zone throw so far. Things we want is probably a second Tyranid, maybe a Maleceptor would be cool as well. The thing with Old One Eye, I love Old One Eye. He's okay. He's done all right for me. I really do think Old One Eye is a strong unit, but it is close to 400 points. Like, yes, the unit went down in total, I think, 10 or 20 points or something like that. However, you're devoting so much of your army to Old One Eye that the rest of your army does kind of have to pick up the brunt of it and score. So that being said, if we're going to have Old One Eye, we're probably going to cut the Trigon. I think the Trigon is really cool, really funny. I just don't love him too much in Invasion Fleet because we have things that can disrupt through Hormagaunts and Gargoyles, and the NillocDeer, we can disrupt our opponent's game plan. We don't really need the Trigon to do that, if that makes sense. So just from my point of view, for right now, we're gonna cut the Trigon and see where that gets us. Sorry, Trigon. Goodbye. Things that I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in a second Tyranid, but it's also like, do we need 2 Tyranid and Zoanthropes? I personally have not tried like a 1-in-1 combo like this, Tyranid and Zoanthropes, but I think they're close to serving the same, killing the same target. So who is this, Nilloc? Yeah, NillocDeer. Try this combo and tell us how it does. 1 Tyranid, 6 Zoanthropes. So we have 1775 points, which is honestly a lot of points. Things that we are missing, I think we need 2 more lone ops, at least. I like the NillocDeer as a 1-of. I think that's very cool. I think we stick with that. But if we put 2 lictors in, which is kind of like my bare minimum right now, and those are both 60 points. Boop, boop. And then that leaves us at 1895. So that means we have 105 points to go. Cool. Couple ideas that we can use to do clear up to 105 points immediately is something that came in mind in order to help our scoring and just kind of our skirmishing a little bit. We could do Raveners. I think Raveners could be sweet as like a one-off with 75 points. But also I'm a little bit worried about this. You know, I'm not quite sure that this is enough Gribblies or fast enough Gribblies, but I want to stay away from my normal double gargoyle and see what we can do elsewhere. So something that I just recommended was we could do Raveners times 3, which is 75 points. Ooh, did I miscalculate? And then 30, we would have 30 points left over. Make sure I did that right. Yeah, I did that right. Okay, maybe I just miscalculated in my head. Okay, so at this point, we could upgrade the gargoyles, even though I said I wouldn't do that. Or, we take the Raveners out one more time. What's up, Bean Creature? Oh, Bean Creature, we just went over your list, man. I thought it was really cool. I forget what we did. I'll let you, yeah, we did. Pretty new, but really like list building. Hey, we really liked list building too. This was great. Just to give you a little bit of heads up, I'm sure you'll watch it back, but this is kind of what we did. We kept most of it. I'm interested to see what you think about this combo right there. 2 gargoyles, Lictor, Neurolictor, Pyrivore, Exocrine, Maliceptor, Tyranid, Zone Throats. Oh, were you the guy with the double 20-man Termagants? I think the Termagants are cool, but I just think they're a little bit awkward in Synaptic Nexus. If you're able to watch it back, we had a whole discussion on it. But thank you again for submitting your list, and I appreciate you stopping in. Okay, back to this, because I do have to run before too long. Something we could do is we could also downgrade this Neurolictor since you don't know how to use it. We can downgrade this since we do have 2 lictors in. Let's see what that gets us, because something that I am looking for is either an additional screening piece or honestly like a Maliceptor. So that means we have 120 points to play with. I think I'm favoring a little bit more into the more scoring units. So let's add another squad of gargoyles. So we're in 1965, 35 points away. Man, that's tough. Okay, so if we delete gargoyles and do 2 Hormagaunts, that means we're at 55 points. Okay, cool. I think I'm okay with that, and I think that will actually round out. So what I'm thinking is Hormagaunts, boop, and then we're at 1945, and then we can do 55 points. We can do, I'm thinking a Pyrivore. And that's 1985. You could put, I don't know. We're at a weird spot there. You could put perfectly adapted on the Neurotyrant. It is not necessarily a great pick, but it does get you exactly to 2,000 points. It helps with maybe like an invuln save every once in a while if you're being a little aggressive, which you might be, honestly, with this list because of these guys. But let's review the list before we say ta-ta. Okay, so Death Leaper. I still think the Death Leaper's good, even if you do not have a Neurolictor. Again, if you're worried about your playstyle with a Neurolictor, maybe leave him in. Ignore what I said about downgrading him. Try that. Either way. Hive Tyrant. I think we talked about having a Venom Cannon instead of the Scything Talons. Neurotyrant, he's fine. Old One Eye, he's cool. I really like 3 screens of Gribbly guys. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's too much. But I really do like being able to send out my Gridley units in waves so that they can do the business and block people. We have a Biovore, 2 Carnifexes. I love this unit. I think it is very cool. Side objective in Overwatch or middle with Hive Tyrant. I agree. These guys do a really good job of just going off on their own and, I don't know, being a great unit without any Hive Tyrant support or anything like that, honestly. 2 Excrons, 2 Lictors, a Tyrannifex, Raveners, and then Zoanthropes. I would look into this combo. I have often, excuse me, I'm sniffling, I'm sorry. I have never run Tyrannifex and 1 Zoanthropes. I'm inclined to think that one or the other might be cool, or just 2 Tyrannifexes. But we'll see. You know, if you run this and it seems pretty good, and also if you're playing against this guy against a bunch of Custodians and Blood Angels, this right here is a nightmare for Blood Angels and Custodians. If you're able to stage this and move block and move block and move block with 3 turns into Custodians and Blood Angels, so they can't get to your Carnifexes or your Exocrines or your Tyrannifexes or even your Zoanthropes, this would do terrible things, I think, to a Custodian's army. So think about that, you know, if that's something that you're wanting to run. Okay, everybody, cross your fingers for the cool holiday detachment that's coming out tomorrow. I will cover that detachment and my thoughts on it if you would like to hear them in one way or the other, whether it's a live stream Tuesday or Thursday or a very quickly put out video. I will let you know. You will see something on this channel covering that detachment for sure by the end of this week. We'll probably not having this stream next Monday. I might do an additional one this Thursday just to try and get caught up on some lists. And then I'll try and post in another army list show to replace the one that is not going to happen next Monday. So we will definitely still have this stream. I really enjoy doing it, and I enjoy hanging out with you guys. So last but not least, you know, check out the community tab, post your list. I want to take a look at your bugs. And Spooky, you can always go back and check. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us today, and, you know, enjoy your Monday. I'll see you Wednesday. Ooh, I am bringing Nids Wednesday.